welcome to Historic Eats, where I recreate recipes from the past and share the history of how the recipe came to be. Today's recipe is cranberry orange Israeli couscous salad, and all the history is in the main ingredient, which is the Israeli couscous. Ancient couscous is essentially hydrated durum wheat, and it's been a part of Mediterranean cuisine for centuries. Now, Israeli couscous is something altogether different. It's technically a pasta also made from durum wheat, and it was invented around the 1950s. And the story behind it is definitely worth sharing, so stay tuned for that. So this channel is all about sharing traditional recipes and giving the history of how the recipe came about. So if you haven't already, click subscribe, and I invite you to go over to my channel and check out some of my previous recipes and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. So like a traditional pasta salad, this Israeli couscous salad includes a pasta or a starch covered in a vinaigrette, and it's served cold. But at that point, they really part ways because this salad is sweet and tangy with fresh, crunchy mix-ins, and it's the perfect summer side. So without any further ado, let's get started. To begin, heat about a tablespoon of olive oil in a medium saucepan over medium heat. Go ahead and add 2 cups of the pearl couscous to the oil, and I'm just going to stir it and lightly toast it over medium heat for just a few minutes. And you want to keep your eye on it because it will brown pretty quickly. So these are beginning to toast. You can see some of them are brown around the edges. That's what we're looking for. So go ahead and add 3 cups of chicken broth. Once it begins to boil, go ahead and turn it down to low and cover it and set a timer for 6 minutes, and we'll check on it then. While the couscous is cooking, you can go ahead and toast the almonds. So I have a baking sheet I lined with foil, and I'm just going to spread a half a cup of thin sliced almonds on the foil. And this goes in the 350-degree oven for about 5 minutes. We just want to look for a little bit of browning around the edges. So the 6-minute timer just went off, and the couscous swelled up like little pearls. And there's a little bit of liquid in the bottom, but I'm just going to let it sit here with the heat off, covered again with a lid for just 2 to 3 minutes, and it will finish absorbing the rest of the liquid. So here's the couscous after a couple minutes. As you can see, all of the broth is absorbed. So now I'm going to take some olive oil and drizzle it right over the top, about a tablespoon, and give it a good stir. This is just going to keep the couscous from sticking to itself. And now I'll just let the couscous and the almonds sit here on the counter and come to room temperature. And now to begin the dressing, start with a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. To that, add 3 tablespoons of honey, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and some fresh cracked black pepper, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. And with a fork, just whisk that together. And just set that aside. Now that the couscous is cooled, we can put all of the ingredients together. So to the couscous, I'm going to add my toasted almonds, then 1 cup of dried cranberries, 1 medium apple chopped. You can use whatever variety you like, 1 celery rib minced, 1 tablespoon of fresh rosemary chopped, 1 teaspoon of orange zest, and 2 tablespoons of fresh orange juice. And now I'll just pour the dressing right over the top. And give everything a good stir. Once everything is well combined, it needs to chill for a minimum of 2 hours. So go ahead and cover it with some plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge. The original couscous began with the Berbers in the 11th century. Coarsely ground durum wheat was combined with water, then rolled between hands until tiny granules formed. It was a simple and common food as durum wheat was cultivated in Northwest Africa and much of the Middle East. Now, unlike traditional couscous, Israeli couscous was more of a modern-day invention. 1948 to 1959 was a time of rationing in Israel known as the austerity period. Following World War II and the 1948 Palestine War, the country was war-torn and lacking financial reserves, all while an influx of Jewish population were returning to their homeland. Foods that were typically staples of their diet, like rice, were limited and heavily rationed. In order to provide a solution, Prime Minister Ben-Gurion asked the Awesome Food Company to create a wheat-based substitute for rice, and in 1953, Awesome Foods invented batidim, or Israeli couscous. Similar to old-style Middle Eastern couscous, durum flour was mixed with water and formed into rice shapes or tiny round balls, then finally toasted. These tiny round balls resemble pearls, so Israeli couscous is often referred to as pearl couscous. When rehydrated during cooking, it absorbs the broth or moisture and it results in a flavorful bite. Israeli couscous remained popular even beyond the austerity period and is widely used today for a number of culinary applications. It takes on the flavors of whatever it's paired with, making it perfect for oil and vinaigrette salads or rich and comforting soup additions. So now on to enjoy Cranberry Orange Couscous salad. So the salad has chilled in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours, and now it's time to enjoy. Well, it's mildly sweet and tangy, and that 1 teaspoon of orange zest was the exact right amount because it just comes through beautifully. And the addition of the celery and the almonds just give it that little crunch. Now you can really take a lot of liberty with this recipe and customize it however you'd like. You could substitute lemon for the orange, you could mix in some feta cheese, change up the nuts for maybe some pecans or sunflower seeds. Just use whatever ingredients you enjoy. Well, thank you again for watching. Remember to click subscribe and tune back in. I have more recipes that I'd love to share with you. So until next time, bye-bye.